Greetings and welcome back, Dapplings, to From the Depths, and of course to the Bridge of the Avatar. Now, in this episode, we are currently already making our way towards an enemy fleet, but I think it is time for us to start work on the Avatar's additional weapon systems. Now, we're going to start fairly easy with this one. We're going to build in a torpedo system first, and then when we know how much room we've got in these compartments for the guns, we'll build the guns as well. So, let's see. The very first thing that we're going to want to do is to create a bit of a gap for the guns to go in. Let's get all of this nailed down. So we want a mirror line right about here. Then we are going to come all the way down, find this point here, and then just remove these blocks. There we go. So we've got a bit of a tunnel right the way through. Now I'm going to want to do a fair bit of work here, just making sure that everything looks good. So we'll grab the fleet main color and then do this. Also, it would actually help an awful lot if I wasn't controlling the vehicle's propulsion system. That is definitely one of the more annoying parts of building, I'm afraid. Now again, fleet main color, we want metal blocks again. There we are, and then there we go. Now that will be done on both sides. We also need to get it done here as well. Unfortunately, there's no fast way for us to get this one done. There we are, and then up here. And then this is the last one. There we are. Oh dear, what have I just destroyed? I have no idea, but I just took something out that I didn't mean to. That's awkward. Ah, right, okay, that's not actually that bad. There we go. So, awkwardness resolved. I do need to also add in a little bit of wood, and then we're good. Insofar as the gaps have been made. I believe over here as well. Alright, so with that little bit of restructuring to the hull done, we can now add in a fair bit more. Now, unfortunately, that has made these areas no longer buoyant, which is a bit of a pain. But that should be fixed in just a moment. So we want a missile launch pad, and as ever, we'll make these red. So we want a missile launch pad going that way. Want one right here as well. And, well, actually, thinking about it, we'll have them go a little bit further out instead. That way I can have the connectors go behind. Then we want the missile blocks, and just take these out to there, I would say. Leave a little bit of a gap just for visuals more than anything, honestly. I don't want it to be completely flush with the exit point. There we are. Now we'll remove the color and then build the six-way control connectors all the way along behind. Right, here we go. That is the beginning of our our torpedo system. Now, interestingly, that actually works out very, very well for us. Didn't mean it to work out like that, but it did. Let's pop in. These are going to be self-guided, so we are going to need an identify friend or foe on them. Additionally, we are probably going to want let's place a staggered fire as well, and we'll give this one a 3-second delay, and then finally the weapon system can go right at the end. We'll have the weapon controller there. We'll make this system 4, maybe? I'm not really sure. There's quite an arbitrary one, that one. Make that one 4 as well. And then make sure that this one is set to a 3 as well. I believe this one was set to 3. Right, okay. Now we need to design our torpedoes. Now the torpedoes themselves Now, these are quite large torpedo systems, so we're going to be able to play around with this. Now, the big thing with torpedoes is they don't use much fuel at all. So I'm fairly confident putting 3 torpedoes right there, straight off the bat. We'll use a fin, a fuel tank, another fin, maybe a third as well, because it's going to be a fairly long one, but we'll see about that. Now, in terms of the sonar, a 45-degree field of view horizontal and a 15-degree field of view vertical. Now, quite often I'll actually put an an infrared seeker on these. 120 degrees forward-facing field of view. See, I'm really thinking that having the infrared would be better, because then we can have a camera as well. But it is going to cut down on the other points that we're going to need. So let's just get in the absolute essentials. We'll have 1 turn. We'll also have a ballast tank. The ballast tank will have a float depth of 0 and a buoyancy of 0. Now, what that means, as we see up here, by having both at 0, it creates a neutral buoyancy missile. So it's not going to fight against itself. If it's trying to dive, it's not going to try to rise to a certain depth, and likewise, it's not going to try and return down to a certain depth if it decides it needs to rise instead. So it gives us a little bit more to play with. But I think with only these few points there, these 3, we'll have a sonar. That gives us 3 fragmentation warheads. And as always, we're going to drop these down. This one will be 10. We'll have another one there. That'll be 25. And we'll have a third, which will be a 50 degree. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. We'll save this one up as... well, I've named the other missile Airbending temporarily. I might change it later on. Again, I don't watch the show. I thought it was an anime as well. I've been corrected. It's not actually an anime. But I've called them missiles the airbending missiles, or airbenders, I guess I could say. Waterbenders. There we go. We'll call these airbenders. Actually, I can't adjust that. I'll change that later. But there we are. So we've got the waterbender torpedoes there. And we'll load these in. Then assign to all of them. Right, now the next thing we are going to need, in fact the only thing now that we're going to need, is a control system. Now I could do that by having the AI at the top there, perhaps. But I think it'll actually be better off for us if we put the AI here. And the reason for that, well, we're not going to need an aim point selector. We're flat out not going to need that. We can't use it, in fact, because the torpedo is going to pick its own target. So all we need is a local weapon controller. We'll place that there. Then we're going to need an AI mainframe there, followed by a forward and a front and back card slot, and then finally target prioritization. And that's all we need. Now, in terms of engagements, with that many thrusters on only one fuel tank, I'm going to say it's about 1,600. It's a bit of a guess. It always changes based on the size of the missile, how much drag it's going to have in the water. But we're going to say it's about 1,600. And we're going to say don't engage anything closer than 50 meters. There's just no point. Also, maximum altitude to engage, we'll say, is, let's say, 10 out of the water. Yeah, we'll say 10 out of the water, because the origin block can mess that up a little bit. So we'll say 10 out of the water. That seems fine to me. So we've got 50, 1,610. Let's go and copy that information over to the other side. Oh, apparently no. Ah, damn it. It does get very finicky when you do this, unfortunately. I've mentioned that before. Easily one of the more irritating things. Maximum altitude of 10 as well. There we are, all set up. And finally, we want the prioritization. So I want anything per altitude, massive. Well, we don't want to make it too big because it'll try to take on subs and it might not be able to hit those. Is that crew? I think that's actually fine. More or less, that's all okay. We could perhaps have this one prioritize range, like one prioritize speed and the other prioritize slowness. So we've got a 10 on speed and we'll have the other a minus 10. Yes, actually, I quite like that idea. It's good to have the different weapon systems prioritizing different kinds of targets, in my opinion. So we want a negative 10 on this one. And 0.5 on altitude. I think we're going to set there. Actually, no, 0.1. There we go. This storm has been following me around. Everywhere I go. You can't get away from the bloody thing. The gods are angry with us for making the Avatar. Well, the gods can just jog on. This is a beautiful vessel. I don't know what they're all so angry about, really. I honestly don't understand these gods these days. I would have thought they would have been delighting in the battles that we were winning, but no, apparently they think the Avatar is just too powerful. What was I going to check here? Oh, that's right. I wanted to save this missile as airbending or benders. Maybe I should have it airbender. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Got to have the proper terms. Not that they are the proper terms, but still. And then waterbender. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. We've got some pretty decent torpedoes there. Now, I'm not easily going to be able to check this. I have no real idea if it's going to work or not. So we're just going to have to hope on this one. But let's go out and check. Ooh, you gads. Let's slow everything down. We've got two big fleets here. That is not quite what I meant to do. This is what happens when you just let the Avatar just drive for a while. Okay, well, we've got two fairly large forces. Let's grab you. And we'll fight this one first. What have we got here? I don't think it really matters what they've got. What do they have? It is an orca. Ooh. Okay, looks like we're about to find out what an orca is. And what it can do. And while that's happening, let's also go over here and check this one out. Got a scrapper and an urchin. Nothing that we're really going to have to worry about. Okay. And there we go. Right, HMS Avatar in first. A buyer, I would like you in second. The Avatar, I would like to be... You know what, let's just make this nice and easy. Get into this fight as quickly as we can. We've got the Abaya. We'll place you in there. Actually, we'll place you a little bit further back so you've got some time to adjust. And get you two in there as well. Alright, I think this should be good. We'll increase the blocks. We're up to 12.2 thousand blocks now. And it doesn't look like the Deepwater Guard are really going to have much of it. They've only got 4.5 thousand blocks in this fight. We are going to decimate them, I feel. Well, let's have a quick look at how this goes. Oh, they've already launched something. Well done. And we are returning fire, it seems. Now, what is this orca, then? Well, it's launching missiles. The Avatar is dealing with that already. And the orca's launching a lot of missiles. It's also being torn apart by our AA gun. Those missiles are going down pretty quickly. It is actually returning fire quite well, though. It's done a little bit of damage to us. Well done, you. And our missile system is firing. Let's see how these do. Off they go. Now, I had initially considered using EMP on this. In the end, I decided against EMP for the simple reason that I only had one warhead. And generally speaking, if the warheads are hitting somewhere where there isn't an AI, it won't matter. They won't do anything to just regular blocks. They've got very, very little destructive capabilities. Whereas the the fragmentation warheads can just cut through armor at the very least. But there we go. That fight was remarkably easy, actually. There's one more thing that I'm considering adding as well. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But the Avatar... Oh, it's just launched its torpedoes. What is it aiming for? Nothing, it seems. Those torpedoes are going off into the deep blue yonder. Wow, there are a lot of them out there, though. They move really fast. Oh, that's fantastic. I haven't generally given torpedoes that many propulsion systems before. But I'm liking it. I'm sincerely liking it. Now, there is one thing that has been added in a recent patch that I would like to quickly cover. And that is, we've now got the ability to have automated control blocks, or rather, advanced control blocks, control the ammo processors. So, let's go ahead, go to controls, automated control block, one on each side. This one, when ammo fraction is below, control ammo processors, when we've got less than 25% of our ammo, turn on the processors. We've got a lot of processors, so they should be able to fill it up pretty quickly, but we might tweak it a little bit over time. But when ammo is above 50%, shut them off. There we go. There we are. And it should just keep going on that. Okay, there we are. So that should mean that we're not going to waste metal. Unless the Avatar has been in a prolonged engagement and has consumed an awful lot of its ammo, or its ammo stores were broken, like destroyed somehow, and we've since repaired them, don't worry about it. If it's got less than 25% of its total stock, turn all of the ammo processors on, try and fill it as fast as we can, but as soon as it hits about 50%, cut the power. We don't need to waste our metal on that. But there we go. Avatar did really well there. We've got a couple of ships here. Let's jump into this next battle straight away. At this point, the Avatar can just move through the various zones without too much trouble at all. Okay, the Avatar is going to need to be a little bit further on. In fact, I just want you right at the edge there. And same for the Sobeks, honestly. Sobek, Eric Martin. Abaya, you can be off to the side because you need some time to properly submerge yourself. But this is going to be another fairly one-sided fight, I fear. Now, where are the enemy at? They're all the way over there. And something is engaging. Is the Avatar fighting? No, the Avatar isn't actually fighting. But we should see... There we are. The torpedoes have been launched. And they're away. I suspect the Avatar is going to be able to wipe everything out over there long before those torpedoes actually get in range. But let's have a quick look. Here's the torpedoes. Look at them being fired. That's glorious. Are they actually going to make a connection? I think they might. We might be about to see them get involved. There they are. They've just missed. It seems they didn't converge. Now this is the problem with torpedoes. I've often found they just do not seek properly. They're not even trying. They're just generally going in that direction. Yeah, that is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. I have such bad luck with torpedoes and sonar specifically. They just do not seem to want to work. And I don't know what we can do to try and resolve that, but oh well. Let's get back in the water, see how this is all going. Where is... Okay, you've destroyed one thing. Right, well, what I can do is quickly address that then. Because it's just wasting its ammo right now. Let's get in there. Added this. We want infrared camera. Where would you be? Infrared seeker, rather. And then we'll lose the largest angle. Oh, wait, that's completely wrong. 25% there. We'll lose this and we'll go for an infrared camera that can select a random block. There we go. Assign to all the same components. Then save this as the water bender. There we are. And then do the same on the other side. And that should give us pretty awesome control of the waters. Not that we didn't already have that, mind you. There we go. So our torpedo systems are in. All that's left now for the Avatar is its three pairs of broadside cannons. Let's come back out of that. Let's see if we can go and pick another fight straight away. We could even bring in this Cororo, but I'm tempted. I am actually sorely tempted. Alright, we're going to pull all forces for the time being. Then I want you guys to just move into this zone, because you'll claim it. And then just move down to this one. Now, we're flying blind at this point. I have no idea what we're about to encounter. I do, however, know that we've got enough materials that if we wanted to, we could build a second Avatar. It would be expensive, stupidly expensive. And I've got something else in mind that I would really like to work on. In fact, we're starting to encounter a problem now where I'm going to have to build another Cororo, and even that one isn't actually covering all of the ground over there that I wanted to watch. So I'm actually pretty tempted at this point to design a satellite. It's going to be purely a recon satellite. It's not going to have any offensive capabilities at all by design. I don't want it to be able to just annihilate all forces without them having any kind of opportunity to fight back. That isn't interesting to me. I don't play this game so that I can have this crazy OP fleet and just walk over it. I like things to at least pose a challenge, and having a weapon system that is practically impossible to counter, because anything up that high, the only thing that's really going to be able to fight it is going to be lasers, and even then, there's so many things that you can do with a weapon satellite. It's basically a structure in space, so it's not... It doesn't have the same sort of problems as a ship does or a plane does. A satellite can be enormous because once it's in space, generally it's just going to stay there. So you can make it absolutely enormous, have this huge engine and, world-destroying lasers on it. Nothing can convincingly stand against that sort of thing. So the first satellites that we're going to make are going to be purely recon. I may go down the path of building some defensive satellites that I might build around certain key locations, but we'll see about that. Now, I have no idea what is in this location. Let's scout around a little bit, shall we? Ooh, there we go. Let's slow down. What have we got? Let's slow right down. We have got a scuttle gun and a coffin nail. Ooh, that might be an interesting fight. Actually, it probably won't be. The Avatar's probably going to stamp on it anyway, but nevertheless, let's get involved in this. And I think at that point then we're going to wrap up this episode, and in the next we'll probably be looking at designing a satellite so that I can get complete line of sight over our waters. Ooh, this is nice. The Deepwater Guard have 6.5k blocks here. That's almost matching ours. This actually may be okay. I think that deployment is pretty good though. Slow things right down. Now, we can watch this entirely from the map if we really want to. It's pretty dark at the moment. I can barely see a thing. Okay, let's speed things up so that goes away. There we go. Now, let's actually have a look at what we could see down here. Okay, it's already trying to go for the coffin nail. Let's get up there, see what's happening. The coffin nail is returning fire. It's already launched its main missiles. That will not reach the Avatar. Oh, it might. No, it didn't. Okay. Torpedoes are in the water already. They have probably already acquired a target. But now we can't see the bullets anymore, so I'm going... Oh, right. That is already gone. Okay, those torpedoes have nothing to do. Sorry, torpedoes, but I think that's going to be a wash for you. Yes, it's already gone. Very sorry, torpedoes. But we'll just watch the rest of this from here. Now, that's probably going to get exploded soon. Is it going to make it there? No. Oh, there we are. It didn't quite get through. The coffin nail is down to 99%. The Avatar is still at 100, but it has taken some damage. The altitude of the coffin nail is descending quite rapidly. That's interesting. Has it been... Yes, it's losing altitude very, very aggressively. Something has hit it. I believe the Avatar has managed to knock something out very important. more strikes from the airbender missiles. And wow, okay, so you're in a bit of trouble. The waterbenders have picked up your scent. You're in the water. Here they come. And connection. Not actually as impressive as I was hoping, I must confess. I was expecting, with the amount of shrapnel that they are capable of releasing, that it would have been a little bit more interesting at the very least. But apparently no. Let's zoom over here and see what's going on. Are there any more torpedoes in the water? There are a few incoming. There we go. Ooh. Something big happened there. I believe this coffin nail just managed to deal the Avatar a firm blow. Down to 82%, but here we come. 2 torpedoes inbound. And explosions happening. Yes, those actually... I take it back. Those torpedoes basically just hollowed out part of the coffin nail. They don't do a lot of damage to the initial point of impact. They just make a small hole. But then the shrapnel expands out inside. Kind of like a hollow point bullet, really. There we go. Fantastic. That coffin nail really wasn't much of an opponent for the Avatar. It did take a little bit of damage, though. Well done, coffin nail. There we go. And that fight is finished. I imagine some of these torpedoes, yeah, will still catch on the wreckage there. But okay, we are now quite deep into the Deepwater Guard's area. I'm a little bit concerned because if they send a large fleet to attack us from here, there's no way that the Avatar's fleet is going to be able to get back to defend us. So it may be worth us building another Avatar to help protect the city. And it would be able to function alongside our current militia forces, the Plunderer and the Wander. However, I think in the next episode we are going to be working on a satellite, so it'll be a campaign and the build episode. Again, I'll have annotations and cards so that you can flick between the two if you're interested in one over the other. But hopefully we will be launching our first satellite in the next gameplay episode, and it will give us a lot more line of sight over this area. I'm really not sure what to expect with getting a satellite as high up as a satellite can go, because we can get them like thousands and thousands of kilometers. Well, rather, several kilometers, not thousands of kilometers. Several thousand meters into the sky. And at that kind of range, I imagine any radar system is going to have an absolutely obnoxious sight range. So we may be able to uncover much of these territories, perhaps even as far as Janwall. We'll have to see. But that is going to be it from me for now. I do hope you've enjoyed, and will be joining us for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care.